Hey everyone, welcome back. Have you ever caught yourself feeling like the days are passing faster than they used to? Maybe you've noticed that while your body still keeps up, your energy doesn't quite feel the same as it did 10 years ago. Or perhaps you found yourself looking at old photos and wondering where all the time went. Well, I want you to take a deep breath with me for just a moment. Because today, we're going to talk about something that might surprise you. Something that science is now showing can actually help slow down aging, boost your mood, and even improve your physical health. And the best part? It's not a fancy supplement or some expensive treatment. It's something we all have access to, and it starts with a simple smile, a kind word, or even just sharing a cup of coffee with someone who makes you feel seen. That something is social interaction. And if you're over 70, it may be one of the most powerful tools you have to stay vibrant, active, and truly alive. Think about your morning routine. Do you get up, make your coffee or tea, read the paper or watch the news, and then settle into the day? There's nothing wrong with that. But what if I told you that making just one small tweak could instantly bring more joy and connection into your life? What if, instead of turning on the TV first thing in the morning, you picked up your phone and sent a quick message to someone you care about? Maybe it's a neighbor you haven't talked to in a while, an old friend from high school, or even a grandchild who's always busy but would love hearing from you. That little message, "Hope you're having a good morning," or "Just thinking of you," can spark a conversation that brings light into both of your days. Or better yet, how about planning a weekly call with someone special? It doesn't have to be long. Just 15 minutes once a week can keep you feeling connected and give you something to look forward to. It could be a cousin, a former coworker, or even someone from your church group. This kind of regular contact helps build a rhythm of connection that becomes part of your life. And trust me, it makes a difference. And here's a bonus tip. Try combining this habit with something you already enjoy. For example, if you love gardening, reach out to a fellow plant lover and plan a walk through a local botanical garden together. If you enjoy puzzles or board games, invite someone over for a game night, or even play online together if distance is an issue. The key is to pair connection with something you genuinely enjoy, so it feels natural and fun rather than forced. Now, I know that reaching out can sometimes feel awkward, especially if you've been spending a lot of time alone. But remember, everyone wants to feel appreciated and remembered. You might be surprised by how happy someone will be to hear from you. So that's our first strategy, reaching out regularly to people in your life. Small gestures, done consistently, can create big shifts in how connected and fulfilled you feel. Let's move on to the second idea, and this one might surprise you. Do you remember when you were younger and you used to join clubs or groups based on your hobbies? Maybe you were part of a book club, a bowling league, or a volunteer organization. As we get older, those opportunities don't disappear. They just change form. The second way to connect after 70 is to get involved in a local class or activity group. Now, before you say, "Oh, I'm too old for that," let me share a story. A few months ago, I met a woman named Edith. She was 82 and had recently joined a beginner's painting class at her community center. She told me she hadn't touched a paintbrush since high school, but she decided to give it a try. Not only did she discover she loved watercolors, but she also made 4 new friends in the process. They now meet every other week to paint together and grab lunch afterward. You see, joining a class or group isn't about being an expert. It's about being curious. Whether it's a dance class, yoga, writing workshop, cooking course, or even a tech tutorial, these settings are full of people who are there for the same reason: to learn, to grow, and yes, to connect. And the great news is, many communities offer programs specifically designed for seniors. From senior centers to libraries to fitness studios, there are plenty of options. If mobility is an issue, many places also offer virtual classes, so you can participate from the comfort of your own home. The beauty of this approach is that it gives you something to focus on besides just socializing. When you're learning something new together, the conversation flows naturally. You're not sitting across from someone trying to think of what to talk about. You're side by side, exploring a shared experience. That makes bonding easier and more authentic. If you're not sure where to start, check with your local recreation center, library, or even your place of worship. Many churches, temples, and mosques host activities and events that are open to the wider community. Don't be afraid to ask around. Often the best recommendations come from people you already know. And here's another idea. If you've got a hobby you're passionate about, why not start your own group? Maybe you love knitting, bird watching, or classic movies. Put up a flyer at your local coffee shop or community center, or post in a neighborhood Facebook group. You might be surprised how many others are looking for exactly what you're offering. So that's our second point, getting involved in a local class or activity group. And trust me, it's never too late to learn something new and meet people along the way. Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about a third way to connect. And this one comes straight from the heart. Sometimes, the most meaningful connections happen when we give back. Volunteering isn't just about helping others. It's about giving yourself a sense of purpose and belonging. And guess what? Studies show that volunteering can actually increase happiness, reduce stress, and even improve physical health. So the third way to connect after 70 is to give your time and talents to a cause you care about. Think about what matters to you. Maybe it's children, animals, education, the environment, or veterans. Whatever it is, there's likely an organization nearby that would welcome your help. Volunteering can look different for everyone. Some people enjoy working directly with people, mentoring students, visiting nursing homes, or delivering meals. Others prefer behind-the-scenes tasks, like organizing donations, sorting food, or assisting with administrative work. The key is to find something that matches your interests and abilities. One man I spoke with, Henry, started volunteering at his local animal shelter twice a week after retiring. He said he wasn't sure how much help he'd be, but the staff welcomed him with open arms. Now, he walks dogs, cleans cages, and even helps greet visitors. He says the animals are wonderful companions, and he's gotten to know several volunteers who've become close friends. Another woman, Marjorie, volunteers at a literacy program where she helps adults learn to read. She says it's the most fulfilling thing she's ever done, and the gratitude she receives from the students is immeasurable. Whether it's a few hours a week or once a month, volunteering creates a built-in schedule of connection. You'll be around people who share your values and goals, and you'll have a sense of contributing to something bigger than yourself. If you're unsure where to start, consider contacting your local United Way, senior center, or hospital. They often have volunteer coordinators who can match you with opportunities based on your skills and preferences. And again, if you can't leave the house easily, many organizations offer remote volunteering options, things like making calls, writing letters, or even tutoring online. So there you have it, 3 powerful ways to stay connected after 70. Reaching out regularly, joining a class or group, and volunteering your time and talents. These strategies are all about building bridges between yourself and others, between your past and present, and between where you are now and where you want to be. Each one is a step toward a richer, more engaged life. And they all start with taking that first small action. Now that we've covered the first 3 points, you might be wondering how to make these habits stick. Well, in the next part of this video, we'll dive into the remaining 3 strategies, and I'll share some tips to help you turn these ideas into lasting routines. But before we go any further, I want to thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. That way, you won't miss any of the upcoming parts. And if you have a favorite way to stay connected, or if you've tried any of these strategies and they worked for you, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. Because here's the thing, aging doesn't mean slowing down. It means evolving, growing, and discovering new ways to thrive. And with the right connections, every year can be better than the last. So let's keep going, because your best days are still ahead. Now I know what you might be thinking. I'm retired, my kids are grown, some of my friends have moved away or passed on. Isn't this just life after 70? But here's the truth. Loneliness and isolation don't have to be a normal part of getting older. In fact, studies show that staying socially connected can reduce the risk of heart disease, lower blood pressure, and even help protect against memory loss. Social connection isn't just nice to have, it's essential for thriving in our later years. So in this video, we're going to explore 6 practical, meaningful ways to connect with others after 70. These aren't complicated or out-of-reach ideas. They're things you can start doing today, whether you live alone, with family, or in a retirement community. And I promise, each idea has been thoughtfully chosen to fit into real life, not some idealized version of it. Let's start with the first point, and it's probably one you already do, but maybe not in the way I'm about to suggest. In the first part of this video, we talked about how staying socially connected isn't just good for your mood. It's actually one of the most powerful tools you have to stay healthy, active, and full of life after 70. We covered 3 great strategies: reaching out regularly to people you care about, joining a local class or activity group, and giving your time and talents through volunteering. Now, let's dive into the next 3 ways you can connect more deeply with others. And trust me, these are just as meaningful and doable as the first ones. Let's start with something that might feel surprisingly simple, but incredibly impactful. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to get stuck in your routine? You wake up, go about your day, maybe run a few errands, and before you know it, another day has passed without much interaction beyond a quick hello at the grocery store. That's completely normal, especially if you live alone or aren't working anymore. But here's the thing. Those small moments of connection, they matter more than you think. So the 4th way to connect after 70 is to build relationships right where you are, in your everyday spaces. Think about the places you visit regularly: your favorite coffee shop, the post office, the pharmacy, the park, even the laundromat. These are all opportunities to build mini connections that add up over time. Take Margaret, for example. She's 74 and lives in a small town. Every Tuesday morning, she goes to the same cafe for breakfast. Over time, she got to know the barista, the cook, and even some of the other regulars. Now she looks forward to her weekly chats with them. It doesn't take much, just a smile, a kind word, or asking how someone's day is going. Those little interactions create a sense of belonging, even if they're brief. The same goes for your neighborhood. Maybe there's a neighbor who always waves from their porch, or someone who walks their dog around the same time you do. A simple, "Good morning," or "Lovely weather today," can open the door to a longer conversation. And once that happens, you'll find that those familiar faces become part of your daily rhythm, and your world feels a little warmer. Even when you're out running errands, try making eye contact, offering a thank you, or sharing a compliment. People respond to kindness, and often they'll return it. Before long, you'll notice that your circle of acquaintances starts to grow naturally. And here's an added bonus. These everyday connections help keep your mind engaged and your spirits lifted. They remind you that you're part of a community, even in small ways, and that makes a difference. So don't underestimate the power of showing up and being present in your daily life. Whether it's the person behind the counter or the neighbor across the fence, those everyday interactions can bring unexpected joy and connection. All right, moving on to our 5th strategy. And this one might be especially appealing if you've ever thought, "I'd love to meet new people, but I'm not sure how to start." Here's the idea. Host something. Yes, really. Hosting doesn't have to mean throwing a big dinner party, unless you want to. It can be something small and low-key that fits your lifestyle and comfort level. Maybe it's inviting a couple of friends over for coffee and dessert, or organizing a potluck lunch with neighbors. If you're feeling adventurous, you could even plan a themed afternoon, like a classic movie screening, a card game, or a poetry reading. The point is, when you invite people into your space, you're creating a setting where real conversations can happen and new friendships can begin. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Hosting sounds nice, but I don't have the energy, or the perfect house, or the right food. Let me tell you, none of that matters. What matters is the warmth of your welcome. You don't need a spotless home or gourmet snacks. A few comfortable chairs, a tray of cookies, and a friendly attitude go a long way. In fact, some of the best gatherings I've been to were the most casual ones, where everyone felt relaxed and at ease. If you're nervous about hosting, start small. Invite one person you'd like to get to know better. Maybe someone you met in a class or through volunteering. Have a cup of tea together and see how it goes. Once you get comfortable with that, you can expand a bit. Another great idea is to co-host with someone else. If there's a friend or neighbor who's also interested in meeting new people, team up and share the planning. It takes the pressure off and doubles the fun. And if you're not quite ready to host inside your home, consider doing something outside. A picnic at the park, a walk along the river, or even a backyard barbecue can be a wonderful way to bring people together, with less cleanup and more fresh air. Hosting gives you a chance to be the connector, the person who brings others together, and that role can be incredibly fulfilling. Not only are you giving others a chance to connect, but you're also putting yourself in a position to form new bonds and enjoy shared experiences. So don't be afraid to give it a try. Whether it's a cozy gathering or a casual outing, hosting is a beautiful way to open your heart and your home, even just a little. All right, we've covered 4 solid strategies so far, and we're rounding out the final one now. This last point might surprise you, because it's not about connecting with others, but rather reconnecting with yourself. Yes, that's right. Our 6th and final strategy is this: deepen your relationship with yourself through journaling, reflection, or creative expression. Wait, didn't we say this was about social interaction? Well, here's the truth. Sometimes, the best way to connect with others is to first connect with yourself. When you understand your own feelings, values, and needs, you're better equipped to engage meaningfully with the people around you. Think of it this way. When you pour from an empty cup, you have nothing left to give. But when you take time to nourish your inner world, you come to your relationships with more presence, patience, and joy. So how do you do that? One of the simplest and most effective ways is through journaling. Writing down your thoughts, memories, or even just your daily experiences can be incredibly therapeutic. It helps you process emotions, celebrate small wins, and reflect on what matters most. Some people write letters to their younger selves. Others keep gratitude journals, noting things they're thankful for each day. Some write poems, short stories, or even memoirs. There's no right or wrong way. It's whatever feels true to you. Another powerful practice is reflection. Taking quiet time to sit with yourself, maybe with a cup of tea or during a peaceful walk. Ask yourself questions like, what am I grateful for today? What did I learn this week? Who made me smile lately? These kinds of reflections help you stay grounded and aware of the richness in your life. Creative expression is another beautiful avenue. Painting, drawing, playing music, gardening, or even cooking can be forms of self-expression that bring peace and fulfillment. These activities allow you to tap into your inner world, and often they lead to sharing that creativity with others. For instance, my friend Eleanor started painting again in her late 70s. At first, it was just for herself, a way to relax and explore color. But eventually, she began sharing her work with friends, then at a local senior center art show. Now, she leads a small painting group and says it's brought her more joy than she ever expected. So whether it's writing, reflecting, or creating, make space for these practices in your life. Even 10 minutes a day can make a difference. And when you do, you'll find that your relationships with others deepen too, because you're coming from a place of wholeness and self-awareness. These 6 strategies, reaching out, joining groups, volunteering, building everyday connections, hosting gatherings, and nurturing your inner life, are all interconnected. Each one supports the next, and together they form a strong foundation for staying vibrant, connected, and joyful well into your later years. In the final part of this video, we'll wrap up by talking about how to put all of this into action, and how to keep these habits going long-term. So if you're enjoying this journey so far, stick around, because we're not done yet. But first, if any of these ideas resonated with you, I encourage you to pick one and try it this week. Maybe it's sending a message to an old friend, checking out a local class, or simply smiling a little more at the people you see every day. Small steps lead to big changes, and I believe in your ability to create more connection and joy in your life. We've already covered some powerful strategies: reaching out to people you care about, joining classes or groups, volunteering, building connections in everyday spaces, hosting gatherings, and nurturing your inner life through reflection and creativity. Each of these ideas stands on its own, but together they form a beautiful web of connection that supports not just your emotional well-being, but your physical health too. Now, I want to take a moment to bring it all together, not with a list or a recap, but with a conversation about how these habits can become a natural part of your daily life. Because here's the thing, staying connected doesn't have to feel like another task on your to-do list. It can simply become the way you live, a rhythm that brings more joy, purpose, and meaning into each day. Let's start with something that might surprise you. Consistency matters more than perfection. You don't need to be the most social person in the room or the one who never misses a gathering. What matters is showing up, even in small ways, regularly. A short phone call once a week, a smile at the grocery store, a weekly walk with a neighbor. These things may seem minor, but over time they add up to something powerful. Think of connection like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. At first it might feel a little awkward or tiring, especially if you've been spending a lot of time alone. But as you keep doing it, it starts to feel more natural. You'll find yourself looking forward to those moments, not because you're forcing yourself, but because you genuinely enjoy them. And here's a secret no one tells you often enough. You are never too old to make new friends. Some of the most fulfilling relationships I've heard about from people in their 70s and 80s came from simple beginnings, a shared class, a volunteer project, or even sitting next to someone at a community event. I remember talking to a man named George who joined a photography group at his local library when he was 72. He had always loved taking pictures but never thought much of it until retirement gave him the time to explore it again. Through that group, he met several people who became close friends, including one woman who later became his wife. He told me, "I didn't go there looking for love. I went there because I liked cameras. But life has a way of surprising you. That's the beauty of connection. It opens doors you didn't even know were there." So if you're thinking, what if I try these things and still feel lonely? I hear you. There are seasons in life where connection feels harder, whether it's due to loss, health changes, or just the natural ebb and flow of life. And that's okay. What's important is that you keep trying, even if it's just one small step at a time. Maybe today, your step is sending a message to someone you haven't talked to in a while, or signing up for a class you've been curious about, or simply making eye contact and smiling at someone you pass in the hallway of your building. Every effort counts. And let's not forget, technology can be a friend, not an enemy. If distance keeps you from seeing loved ones in person, video calls can help bridge that gap. Online communities and virtual clubs offer opportunities to connect with others who share your interests. Even social media can be a source of meaningful interaction if used intentionally. Of course, not everything online is positive, but with a bit of discernment, you can find groups and forums that bring warmth and inspiration into your life. Whether it's a book club on Zoom, a gardening group on Facebook, or a faith-based discussion board, digital spaces can open up new avenues for connection. The key is to approach them with the same intentionality you would any other relationship, with kindness, openness, and a willingness to engage authentically. Now, before we wrap up, I want to leave you with something very personal, a reminder that your presence in this world still matters deeply. There's a common misconception that as we get older, our role in society somehow shrinks, that we're less needed, less visible, less valuable, but nothing could be further from the truth. Your wisdom, your stories, your kindness, they touch lives in ways you may never fully see. When you show up for others, even in small ways, you're giving them something priceless, a sense of being seen, heard, and cared for. And when you allow yourself to receive connection in return, when you accept help, accept friendship, accept love, you're giving others the chance to feel valued too. That's what makes connection so powerful. It's not just about what you give, it's also about what you allow yourself to receive. So as we close this conversation, I want to encourage you to take one idea from this video, just one, and try it this week. Maybe it's picking up the phone and calling someone you haven't spoken to in a while. Maybe it's walking into a class with an open heart, ready to meet new people. Or maybe it's setting aside 5 minutes a day to write down something you're grateful for. Whatever it is, do it with kindness toward yourself. Aging isn't about slowing down. It's about deepening your relationships, your understanding of yourself, and your appreciation for the life you've built. And remember, every year you live is another opportunity to grow, to learn, and yes, to connect in new and beautiful ways. If you've enjoyed this video, please take a moment to like and subscribe. And if you'd like to share your own thoughts or experiences in the comments below, I'd love to hear from you. Has a new friendship surprised you lately? Have you found joy in a hobby or activity you rediscovered in your later years? Let's celebrate those moments together. Thank you so much for being here, for listening, for reflecting, and for continuing to show up in your life with courage and curiosity. Here's to living your best life, at any age. Until next time, take care of yourself, and keep connecting.